What is up guys, Delboy here. I just wanted to make a quick video about Sadam Ali versus Jaime Munguia. This fight goes down on the 12th of May. Now originally, Sadam Ali was supposed to defend his WBO super welterweight title against Liam Smith. Liam Smith pulled out due to some kind of allergic reaction, I believe, so he pulled out and they have a replacement opponent. And the replacement opponent is Jaime Munguia. If the name is familiar, that is because this guy was supposed to, or he was on the list to fight Gennady Golovkin as Canelo Alvarez's replacement on May 5th. And that fight was turned down by the Nevada State Athletic Commission, I believe, because ultimately Munguia was fighting at 154, he wasn't ranked at middleweight, blah 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 blah, all that nonsense. But I've had a look at him, and going into the Sadam Ali fight, potentially this is a tougher fight than Liam Smith. I'll say it right now. I think this is a really good last minute replacement, all things considered. Is the deck stacked against Jaime Munguia? Of course it is. It's a last minute replacement. You know, he's not going to have had ideal preparation time. It's a big step up in class. He or his team have not had the time to really study Sadam Ali and come up with a game plan. Of course there are negatives, but at the same time, this guy was strongly linked to fight Gennady Golovkin. And I believe it was even scheduled at one point. He has been in some sort of training camp. On BoxRec he was scheduled to fight on the Golovkin undercard. He's young, he's hungry, and he's going to be chomping at the bit at this opportunity, despite the deck being stacked against him. Is it ideal? No. But is it the worst last-minute replacement? No. It's really not. And I honestly feel that this potentially could be a tougher test than Liam Smith. If it was a full camp fight, I would say it's a tougher test than Liam Smith. I've had a look at Jaime Munguia. Munguia is a guy who, he kind of has that stereotypical Mexican style, in a sense, where obviously he likes to come forward. He does take shots, particularly those straight shots, which is something Sadam Ali is pretty good at. But he comes forward with aggression, with intensity. He works the body well with hooks. He hooks upstairs well. You know, he's got power. He maintains a relatively good work rate. And although he does get hit at times, he does actually do a good job of partially blocking the shot and taking the sting off shots. Also, he does apply pressure well by shifting, and he cuts the ring off in relatively decent fashion. I'm not saying this guy's a master pressure fighter. I'm not saying this guy's a master power puncher, but he does bring pretty good aggression, and he does bring a relatively good work rate with decent power. And at his age, he's going to be hungry and game, and he's going to come to fight. And we've all seen Sadam Ali over the years. He's blown hot and cold. We recall the Abregu fight where he looked $1 million. But we also recall the Jesse Vargas fight where he fell to bits. Jesse Vargas, to me, although it was competitive, but Jesse Vargas, to me at the time, it looked like he was just slowly deconstructing Sadam Ali, and he was dissecting him. You know, Sadam Ali fell to bits in that fight. And even in fights before then, like the Jeremy Bryan fight, to me in that fight, Ali looked really, really vulnerable. He lost multiple rounds. I believe that fight went to a split decision. You know, there have been fights where Ali looks really vulnerable and where he looks really unsure of himself. He has rebounded well from that Jesse Vargas fight to an extent. He obviously beat Miguel Cotto in a really good performance, and he deserves credit for that. He boxed really well that night. He boxed a really good fight, in fact. However, you can't just ignore the fact that that was a very old version of Miguel Cotto. We'd be remiss to ignore that. And even in fights between the Vargas loss and the Cotto win in the comeback fights, he was fighting journeyman, and like I said, man, the guy didn't look particularly great. And the Vargas fight really showed it to me that, yes, Ali has really good speed. He has good athleticism, But I'm not sold on his skills, because one of the best indicators of skills is, to me, when you've got a fight between two guys and they're both tiring. To me, the best judge of skill is whose fundamentals hold up best when both guys are tired. And if you watch that Sadam Ali fight and Jesse Vargas fight, to me the key thing was when both guys were getting a little tired, it was Vargas's better fundamentals that held through, and that's what won him the fight. He started to pick Ali apart when Ali's athleticism wasn't really having that same effect. You know, Vargas had much better fundamentals that night. And I know he boxed really well against Cotto, but Cotto could never really apply that relentless pressure on Sadam Ali. And if Jaime Munguia is some kind of freak, and he has really good cardio, really good endurance, good durability, and let's say he's there after 5 or 6 rounds and he's still applying hard pressure, he's still sinking in the odd body shot here and there, I'm going to be really, really intrigued to see how Sadam Ali deals with that. I really am. Because, you know, I'm not saying Munguia's a world beater. I'm not saying he's the next Chavez. I'm not saying he's the next Golovkin. But he brings good pressure. He's got relatively good power. He works the body. He's got a lot of intensity. He's young. You know, he's going to really, really want this. In his mind, he could be thinking to himself, well, this is going to be the only world title shot I get. I need to put my family on the map. I need to secure my future. That's a powerful thing to fight. That's a powerful thing to be up against. And if Munguia can come into the ring with that kind of intensity, and he can drag Ali into a place where he doesn't really want to be, he has a chance, because a lot worse fighters have made Sadam Ali struggle and they've won multiple rounds off him. Don't rule out the upset here. I'm going to be really interested to see the odds in this fight. Now, I'm not necessarily picking Jaime Munguia to win this fight. But what I'm saying is I think this is a better fight than the Liam Smith fight. I feel that Liam Smith, to me, is he's not quite as high octane. He's not as high output as Munguia. Doesn't have as much power. And I question whether the hunger level is the same. I felt Ali would win the Liam Smith fight, but I felt it was a decent fight. I felt it would be competitive, and I felt it would be a good stylistic matchup. I'm a little bit more excited for this fight, based on what I've seen, or the odd snippets I've seen of Jaime Munguia. I think this could be a relatively good fight. I think it could be a sleeper. I think Ali is he's gonna get a tough fight, win, lose or draw here. It's going to be a tough fight. Obviously, you've got to favour Ali. He's got the longer camp, coming off the biggest win of his career. He's more experienced. Yeah, we know all that. You've got to favour him, but don't rule out Munguia. I'm going to be interested to see the odds on this fight. Really am. What did you guys think? Peace.